The Book of Disquiet by Fernando Pessoa. Section 277. There, everything is feeble, anonymous, and gratuitous. There, I saw great demonstrations of compassion, which seemed to reveal the depths of tragically sad souls, but I discovered that the demonstrations lasted no longer than the moment in which they were words, and that they originated, how often I observe this with the discernment of the silent, is something analogous to pity, lost as swiftly as the novelty of the observation, or else in the wine of the compassionate soul's dinner. There was always a direct relationship between the humanitarian sentiments expressed and the amount of brandy consumed, and many a grand gesture suffered from one glass too many, or from a pleonastic thirst. All of these individuals had sold their souls to a devil from hell's riffraff, a devil that craved sordidness and idleness. They lived drunken lives of vanity and sloth, and limply died in the cushions of words, in a morass of scorpions whose venom is mere drool. The most extraordinary thing about all of these people was their complete and unanimous lack of importance, in every sense of the word. Some wrote for the major newspapers and succeeded in not existing. Others figured prominently in the professional register and succeeded in doing nothing in life. Others were even poets of renown, but one and the same ashen dust paled their foolish faces, and they were all a graveyard of embalmed stiffs, positioned with their hands on their hips, in postures of the living. From the short time that I stagnated in that exile of mental cleverness, I've retained the memory of a few good and genuinely amusing moments, of many dull and unhappy moments, of several profiles standing out from the nothingness, of some gestures directed at whatever waitress happened to be on duty, in short, a physically nauseating tedium and the remembrance of a funny joke or two. Interspersed among them like blank spaces, there were a few older men who, with their outmoded witticisms, would backbite like the others, and about the same people. I've never felt so much sympathy for the minor figures of public glory as when I saw them vilified by these minor men who grudged them their petty glory. I understood then why the pariahs of greatness are able to triumph, because they triumph in relation to these men and not in relation to humanity. Poor devils with their insatiable hunger, either hungry for lunch, hungry for fame, or hungry for life's desserts. Anyone who hears them for the first time will imagine he's listening to Napoleon's tutors and Shakespeare's teachers. Some triumph in love, some triumph in politics, some triumph in art. The first group has the advantage of storytelling, since one can be highly successful in love without there being public knowledge of what happened. Of course, on hearing one of these men recount his sexual marathons, we begin to have our doubts after about the seventh conquest. Those who are the lovers of aristocratic or well-known ladies, and it seems to be the case for nearly all of them, ravage so many countesses that a tally of their conquests would shatter the gravity and composure of even the great-grandmothers of young women with titles. Some specialize in physical conflict, killing the boxing champions of Europe in nocturnal revelries on the street corners of Chiado. Others have influence over all the ministers of all the ministries, and these are the ones whose claims are at least plausible. Some are terrible sadists, others are inveterate pederasts, and still others confess in a loud, sad voice that they're brutal with women, having brought them along life's paths by the whip. They always let someone else pay for their coffee. Some are poets, some are... I know no better antidote for that torrent of shadows than direct acquaintance with common human life. In its commercial reality, for instance, as exhibited on the Rua dos Douradores, with what relief I used to return from that madhouse of puppets to the real presence of Moreira, my supervisor, a genuine and competent bookkeeper, badly dressed and out of shape, but at any rate a man. Something none of these others have succeeded in being. Section 278. Most men spontaneously live a fictitious and alien life. Most people are other people, said Oscar Wilde, and he was right. Some spend their lives in pursuit of something they don't want. Others pursue something they want that's useless to them. Still others lose themselves. But most men are happy and enjoy life for no reason. Man usually doesn't weep much, and when he complains, that's his literature. Pessimism isn't viable as a democratic formula. Those who lament the world's woes are isolated. They lament only their own. A Leopardi or an Antero da Cantal doesn't have a sweetheart? Then the universe is a torment. A Vigny feels he's inadequately loved. Human life is tedious. A Job is covered with boils. Earth is covered with boils. People step on some sad fellow's corns. Alas, for his feet, the suns and the stars. Indifferent to all this, humanity keeps on eating and loving, weeping over only what it must weep, and for as short a time as possible. Over the death of a son, for instance, who was soon forgotten, except on his birthday, or over the loss of money, which only causes weeping until more money comes along, or one gets used to the loss. The will to live recovers and carries on. The dead are buried. Our losses are forgotten. Section 279. He left today for his hometown, apparently for good. I mean the so-called office boy, the same man I'd come to regard as part of this human corporation, and therefore as part of me and my world. He left today. In the corridor, casually running into each other for the expected surprise of our farewell, he timidly returned my embrace, and I had enough self-control not to cry, as in my heart, independent of me, my ardent eyes wanted. Whatever has been ours, because it was ours, even if only as a casual presence in our daily routine, or in what we are, becomes part of us. The man who left today for a Galician town I've never heard of was not for me the office boy. He was a vital part, because visible and human, of the substance of my life. Today I was diminished. I'm not quite the same. The office boy left today. Everything that happens when we live happens in us. Everything that ceases in what we see ceases in us. Everything that has been, if we saw it when it was taken from us when it went away. The office boy left today. Wearier, older, and less willing, I sit down at the high desk and continue working from where I left off yesterday. But today's vague tragedy stirring thoughts I have to dominate by force, interrupts the automatic process of good bookkeeping. The only way I'm able to work is through an active inertia as my own slave. The office boy left today. Yes, tomorrow or another day or whenever the bell will soundlessly toll my death or departure, I'll also be one who's no longer here. An old copier stowed away in the cabinet under the stairs. Yes, tomorrow, or when fate decides, the one in me who pretended to be I will come to an end. Will I go to my hometown? I don't know where I'll go. Today the tragedy is visible because of an absence, considerable, because it doesn't deserve consideration. My God, the office boy left today. Section 280. O night in which the stars feign light, O night that alone in the size of the universe make me body and soul part of your body, so that being mere darkness, I'll lose myself and become night as well, without any dreams as stars within me, nor a hoped-for sun shining with the future.